Ziggy, we'll start with you. Jeff Skinner, new deal, Buffalo Sabres. It's a whopper. It's an 8-year contract.
$72 million.
$72 million. That is $9 million a season on the AAV.
There's been a lot of talk.
I don't want to bias my question, so I just make it open-ended.
Well, I know what you're trying to say. It's a little high. And you can argue that for sure, Jeff. It's I'm at the point where I want guys to get every dollar they can. You want players to get you only have so many years to play. You only have so many of those contracts to get. And he had a hot start. Let's not, who are we kidding? He was on pace for 40 at the start and then on pace for 25.
On pace for 52 to start and then on pace for 25.
Hey, that hot start got the coach fired. I mean, that's the fascination of this, is that within the world that is the Buffalo Sabres, with the hot start, and they were first overall at one point after that 10-game streak where they went 10 one-goal games, and in the end, their failure cost Phil Housley his job, and they're still rewarding a player who was part of that failure. I find it fascinating.
But then this is another conversation. We're talking about goaltending. Did they not get goaltending in the first half of the season? And they did. It trickles through your organization.
There was lots wrong in Buffalo.
That was a big one. They just weren't getting the timely saves, and it affects everything. You can't make that extra play. You can't hang on to the puck extra. You're so concerned about the puck going the other way, and that can affect the player a lot of time. But I think the bigger issue around Skinner is when we talk about him and you talk about all this money, most people will say, well, he's been injured a lot.
He's been fine the last few seasons.
If you look
in the last 3 seasons, he's been fine.
If you look at the last 4 or 5, he's not even been fine. He's been one of the most healthiest guys in the league.
No, that is no longer a criticism of Skinner.
Sometimes, though, when you're talking to people about these long-term contracts, and he's one of them, they will make that argument, and you cannot, because he's been one of the healthiest.
Yeah, at a certain point, listen. Good for Jeff Skinner to get that deal. Good for his representative to get that deal. From a Sabre perspective, I'm just they seem to be able to make the same mistakes time and time again. Do I dare say the name Ville Leino when you overpay? Now, I'm not suggesting
Leino and Ehrhoff. That was when Pagula first bought the team and told Darcy Regier go on a shopping spree.
Learn your lessons. Learn your lessons. And you learn from your mistakes than you do your victories. I just think, from my perspective, I just think they paid a bit too much for it. And the fear of allowing Skinner to go to free agency forced them to go to 8 years. And that's the other thing. I'm not sure I would ever sign a player for full term anymore if I was an owner. I wouldn't. I would take the risks.
But if you're the general manager and you're making that deal and you say, okay, what can we do if that doesn't work for us, what's the other option? So say you can't get Skinner. Who are you going to go after at $9 million for 8 years? Who are the Buffalo Sabres going to get? And I'm sure when you...
But that can't be a reason to overpay. Like, that's how you get in trouble, isn't it? Like, have we not learned that about the salary cap? Like, that fear of, we can't be left holding the bag. No. You do get something that's called cap space, and you can weaponize it. Like right now, would it surprise anybody if the Buffalo Sabres at the draft turned to the Tampa Bay Lightning and said, you have a cap crunch coming up. You're trying to bring Karlsson. We know that. Yeah. You have to re-sign Braden Point. We know that. Let us relieve you of the burden of Alex Killorn because we have cap space.
I think that there's, the downside from a Sabre perspective of not having Jeff Skinner in your lineup. I mean, they obviously want to sell season tickets.
That's a big one.
Skinner is popular in the marketplace. They now are one of those teams with two guys in that Eichel and Skinner are now making $19 million. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money to put on two players, and you're not in the playoffs. That's a lot of money.
Jeff Skinner had a shooting percentage bender at the beginning of the season, and those goals piled up. And then when that normalized, all of a sudden the pace became 25 goals. That was the pace. So that ultimately, that's my question. I don't think there's a problem paying $9 million to a 40-goal scorer. I just don't know if Jeff Skinner's a 40-goal scorer because he's done it once.
And when you talk about being healthy for 3 or 4 years, we're still talking a guy. And listen, it's June. We're talking about 2 teams left in the Stanley Cup playoffs. In that 4-year period when Skinner's healthy, how many times has he been in the playoffs?
Yep.
Those are issues.
You know what though?
Those are issues.
Your point is a good one about the pressure in that marketplace.
Oh, sure. You got to create the illusion that you have stability.
Because right now, you look at a Buffalo Sabres team, and they're looking at their team, and they're saying, geez, we don't know who Casey Middlestad is. We don't know who Tage Thompson is. We don't know who Alex Nylander is. But we got this guy that just scored 40.
And we lost the Ryan O'Reilly trade in so many ways, and Patrick Berglund's not here. I mean, that's another one. When you look at what's happened in Buffalo,
it changes a lot. If you're an unrestricted free agent, you're looking to go somewhere, and you've got those guys there now, and now you sign Skinner. It matters a lot. You're going to have an easier time bringing players in because of that sign. So that's another way to look at it. Let's not look at maybe if
what
you
if
think
you
it's
don't have any money to bring them in? What if you get tight to the cap?
I don't know what their
Those
cap.
still have,
They got some space.
They'll have space.
Yeah.
But now you can bring guys in a little bit easier.
Okay.
And that's one of the benefits. Even if you do think you have to overpay on a guy, you do get that option where you're going to have.
There are 30 other teams, though, that are mad at Jason Botterill.
Oh, boy. There'll be some players that are going to get paid this offseason because of that contract.